The e-bike rack that I've got for my vehicle is the Thule EasyFold XT. You see it's on the vehicle now. One of the issues with the bike rack is that it sits up high, especially if you have an SUV or a taller type vehicle. So it sits up pretty high. Lifting the bikes up to that rack is pretty difficult. You can do it one tire at a time, each side, and get it up there, or you can just go and lift the whole 70 or 80 pounds at a time and hoist it up there on the rack. But one of the advantages to the Thule EasyFold rack is that it's got a ramp for it. The approach and the angle getting up onto the rack, it's pretty steep, but Thule just solved that issue, and I've got the new accessory right now, and that is the extended ramp for the EasyFold bike rack. Here it is. You can see this angle here is much less than the original one over here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my bike up on the rack, utilizing each of the ramps, and you'll be able to see what exactly the difference is, and maybe this might be something that'll work for you. I know it's going to work for me. This is the box the ramp comes in, and it says here, quickly load and unload bikes from taller vehicles by adding this longer ramp, 53 inches, to the Thule EasyFold XT rack. So we're going to try it now. I'm going to do this from two angles, and hopefully you'll be able to see the shot. I'm going to do the original ramp, this one right here, the short version, first, and then I'll come back and do the long version. That was an up and down with the short version. Now we're going to do an up and down with the long version. Okay, so let's talk about what just happened. So, here are the ramps. I'll hold them end to end. You can see the ramps there. This is the end, right here, where my hand is the end of the ramps. They're lined up here. So, you've got three sections on these ramps, and they fold up. Just like this, okay? The stock, which I'll call the small ramp, the standard ramp, measures just about exactly with two lengths of the extra long ramp. So you've got an extra one here. See how that goes? So the standard ramp is about as long as two lengths or two sections of the extra tall ramp, and you can see that one swinging right here. That is the extension. So that's how much extra you get. It does decrease the angle of the approach for the bike. Is it easier? Yes, it is. When I put the bike, which is 70 to 80 pounds loaded, up on this ramp, I can push it in, and I don't quite have to lift up the front tire just to get it up there and get it started, but it's close. On the longer ramp, the approach is not quite as long, so it does a good job. It took less force or less pushing in order to get the bike up on the ramp with the longer ramp. That makes sense, right? It's a less of an angle. One thing I will tell you though, it takes a little practice. So the fat tire bikes are 4 inches. It's a 4-inch tire, and it fills up this channel, fills it up well. So you just want to make sure that you've got a good straight approach when you're coming up on the ramp itself, okay? And then you want to steer the front tire so that it stays in the track. And if you do that, you're going to end up with it lined up where it needs to sit on the bike rack itself. So then as soon as the back tire hits the ramp, you want to make sure that it is perfectly lined up. I've had it off a little bit and it's actually fallen off. You want to make sure it's lined up perfectly, and it's not hard to do. It just takes your attention. You're not going to run up there and roll it up there right away, especially if you're sort of a novice and you haven't used this a couple times. Next, I want to show you how these ramps attach to the EasyFold bike rack itself. I think they could have done a better job on that. Is it sufficient? Probably so. I would like it a little more secure, but I'm going to show you how that's done. So I hope you can see this slot right here. This is where this tongue goes into that insert and attaches the ramp. If this will remind you of a Hot Wheels track, the section that you would use to put Hot Wheel tracks together when you're a kid. So you slide this in here like this. It doesn't go quite all the way in, but you push it in and it'll engage. It'll almost snap, and then it's not going anywhere. It flexes just a little bit. That's fine, but the most important thing, it's not going anywhere at all. So I know what the next question is going to be, and that is the storage compartment where you can put the stock ramp when you tilt your EasyFold out is designed to go right here. And you can see there's an arrow here and there's an arrow here, and that's how they line up. And then you can close it just like that. The question you're going to have is, does the 53-inch, the extra long ramp, do that? No, it does not. So that one's going to have to go in the back of the vehicle, and I guess I can just keep this in here as a backup. But the long one does not fit inside of that storage area. So am I glad I bought the extra long ramp for the Thule EasyFold? Absolutely. I thought when I first bought this rack and put it on the vehicle, I thought, wow, that's really going to have the bikes sitting high. And I was sort of disappointed in the length of the ramp before, because I thought that angle of approach was way too steep. So for me, I think this is going to be a great buy. You can get these on Amazon. At the time I bought it, it was just a little over $60. It's made exactly the same as the stock unit. I mean, even the hinges look exactly the same. I don't know why they wouldn't be. The aluminum ramp here, it's a little duller in color. The other one's a little lighter in color, but they're both a flat aluminum gray. And that's really the only difference I can tell in any of the attachments. But it's a quality build. How strong do you need it to be? Strong enough to lift or support 80-pound electric bikes. That's the best thing about this Thule rack, is it's got the rating to support it. I know a lot of people use different racks, but you know, you've got thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars, hanging off the back of your vehicle. Do you want a rack that you're using and it's not rated to take on that kind of weight, or do you want one that's specifically built for e-bikes? It's a little pricey, I get that, but they probably price it up there because they know your e-bikes are so darn expensive and you're generally not willing to take that chance. So if you found this video interesting or informative, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.